Just a smidge. Okay. Alrighty. I was supposed to do this earlier today, but well, now is better than never, I guess. Hey, Sutterbridge, John, Neo, Bodger, of course. It's, yeah, the cat house is a lot nicer tonight now that it doesn't have any massive holes in it. Oh boy. This is. I got a feeling this is going to have a puffed up battery in it. Just call it a feeling, just by the way. Oh, it's. Oh, shit. God damn it. Check out the bend in that. Can you see that bend? It's a pretty serious bend. It's not on the logic board side, so I might try and push that out, but that's ugly. I hate bends like that. Why does they always come in bent? Seriously, what do people do with these iPads? They're using to prop up their trucks while they're changing their tires or something? Yes, there are cats in the cat house. 4 of them. They've got 3 chairs and a lounging around area around the heater. I got a cough again. Why? Sorry about that. Often they will share they'll share a chair, so I don't need to put more chairs in there. More chairs won't fit in there anyway. Wait for this to heat up. Yeah, I'll see if I can kick the bend out, but it is in this area, so at least it's not the logic board, but it's still a nuisance. Hey, Alan, good to see you. I was kind of hoping that Yindi Yamara would turn up. Cats needing heater in Australia seems excessive. It is. You think about that perhaps until you get. I mean, they're kind of like humans in a way. They get conditioned to the majority of the weather, and the majority of the weather is quite hot here. So when we do get this sort of weather, they usually do need some warmth. Kind of like if you take cats that are used to the cold and bring them up here in summer, and they will most certainly not be happy. Bit like humans too. Alrighty, here we go. So this is a 9th gen iPad. I'm kind of hoping it's already been done. It feels like this has already been done before. There is no way I should be able to slide that down like I did if this was an original. So this is definitely, yeah, this is done before. Kind of makes my job a little easier. The question is, was it me or was it someone? No, I don't think it was me. This has been done by another party by the looks of it. So I don't know, maybe it was done by me, I don't know. Can't tell. Oh no, I think this might have been me. swear sometimes when the glass cracks and pops on the edges, and I'm stupid enough to be breathing in concurrently, that I get glass down my throat. Nightmarish stuff, I agree. Where are you? Hey, John L. 37 and 41 in Geelong. You see, I mean, that's not really sort of typical weather, is it, for Geelong? I mean, it can be peaks. Anyway, we sort of live with that sort of 6 months of the year. Frustratingly, I don't care for it, but I do live here, and unfortunately at this point I'm not wealthy enough to move to a location more suiting to my weather preference. So I live here. I'm sure that's probably a situation many people face. Man, there's some real grit got into here. Okay, and I've also got a bit of glass that needs to come up. There we go. It was inhibiting the display coming up. Okay, battery. Okay, display panel into the safe box. Hey, Electro Rep, how's it going? Anyone working on anything what they consider to be mildly interesting? Actually, I think a lot of Australia had a holiday today, but not us Queenslanders. We had our King's birthday holiday a month or two ago. I gotta admit, it seems kind of strange calling it King's birthday holiday. So, all my life it was the Queen's birthday. I mean, we could still celebrate the Queen's birthday. Alright, that's out of here. Whoops. Probably wasn't best to throw it down like that. Okay. Well, at least that came up easy. That is the nice thing when you work on pre-replaced iPad screens, is almost always the replacement, it comes off a lot easier. Summer is starting to cook us slowly here in Croatia. Oh, okay. I never really thought about the weather in Croatia. Oh, great. We've got bad network glitching here at the moment. We're down to about half our normal bit rate. So just telling you. Not sure what's going on there. Let's see. This is 9th gen, isn't it? Oh, crap. This is 9th gen and... Oh, lucky me, the camera holder's still there. This has been broken probably for a while because there is a lot of grit that's gotten in here. Oh, well. Actually, what I'm going to try and do first is we need to flatten out that metal chassis. It's kind of fortunate that the battery split is here, pretty close to where this bend is. So you can see the severity of it there. Glass in there. So we're going to try a couple of techniques, increasing in severity. First simplest one is you just get a very sort of subtle bend over like that. And you just trouble with this metal is it doesn't really like to bend back. It's sort of like bend it once and that's it. And you got to be careful. You don't want to overstress it back again, because then it's never good after that. It's getting there. It's getting there. I need a smidge more though. Can't really tell how deep into the chassis it's going. Okay, it looks like it's going all the way to the logo there. I can tell by the bending of the light. Give it a little bit more of a push. Come on, internet. Do better. Alright, that's not quite enough. I might put a second one on there, but two of them is a little bit too much. So I'll try this. And you've got to be so careful. Because this stuff, it goes from bend to yield all too quick. And when it yields, it snaps. So it doesn't yield smoothly. I think I'm going to have to be happy with that. I'm just going to have to live with that. Which means it's going to lift a little bit in the middle. But compared to what it was, I mean, come on, that's a big improvement. I'm just going to get the trash out of here. Used to be fun with the iPhones up until the iPhone 7. Bending those frames back into shape. Oh, Zoltan. Yeah, it's not very forgiving and very quick to completely lose its mind. Still haven't had the person who sent me this with the blades speak up. So if you are in the live chat tonight, please speak up so I can thank you. I don't like being accused of not being appreciative of the things that people send through to me. There are times where I can forget. There are times when there can be a mismatch, as in I may say thank you in one stream and the person misses that. But yeah, I try to do my best to be thankful for what people send in, as long as it's actually, I know the thought counts. It also helps too if you really do think about it, as opposed to pick some random $2 thing off AliExpress and expect me to rave about it. Or I might rave about it in the wrong kind of way. Reminds me of that time that everybody kept sending Lewis Rossman those glowing chooks. That was it was a colossal waste of money and space for everybody. It was funny, but it really was a colossal waste. It would have been nice to see that kind of money go to something practical, like an animal shelter. But I got it, I understood. Hey, creature. Let's see. Would you ever go back to being an employee? I doubt it. The only time, well, I should say the best time or best way in which I found for me to be an employee is to be a very independent employee and have a boss that understands that. If you've got a boss that wants to micromanage everything, then no, that will never work for me. My best course of action is typically to be subcontracted. It just works out best. Most bosses that I've had work out very quickly that I will generally overwork if I'm believing in a task. So in terms of them getting value for money, it's never been a problem. If anything, I think I've had more bosses telling me to take time off and relax than that's basically what they've said to me. So, it's Friday afternoon, you need to relax, take time off. It's the weekend, go have some fun. And I'm like, but I gotta finish setting up the mail server. Or the DNS server's not quite right. Or the firewall needs some tweaking. Or this program needs tweaking. Yeah, anyway. Of course, it's a lot easier when you're single and young. When you don't have home family commitments, it's a very different situation. So if I was employed now, my behaviour would probably be quite different. Hey, Monsieur. The CPU on these ones, yeah, they are quite bad. I've had a couple where they're just dead. I think losing touch is one of the things that these ones have, isn't it? Or was that the 7th generation? I can't remember. I suppose the long and short of it is no, I wouldn't go back to being employed. There are some advantages, and I think it comes down to your personal mental way that you like to work. For some people, being employed is the best way to get the best out of them. For me, it's generally not. And I mean, I've essentially worked for myself since I was 17. I mean, I've had retail jobs and I've had commercial jobs, big companies. But even with the big company one, I ended up just subcontracting myself back out to them after a while. I do love the squeaky noises. It means we're getting clean. I think the nice thing about being self-employed, running your own business, is that you very much there's no real lies about your performance reports. You essentially, the money in the bank is your performance report. If you're broke, then you probably need to look at what you're doing and what you can do to fix that. So your customers become your very real boss. Now, I know they say that a lot with normal businesses, like, the customer's the boss or whatever. But when you're running your own business, you really do experience that directly. The downside of working for yourself can often be that sometimes you just don't have the budget on hand to explore things, and it's very difficult getting loans and things like that from banks, because doesn't matter how long you have been self-employed, successful or not, banks really do not want to deal with you. From their perspective, you're an extremely high risk, which is kind of funny because there's no shortage of standard 9 to 5 type businesses that can be running for 20, 30 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're down and out. And the worst thing is if you are if you're under that employment, then sometimes the recovery time for you as a staff member, ex-staff member, can be quite a bit longer than, say, if you're your own business, and then you go, well, we have to change tack, come up with something a lot better, a lot sooner. You have a lot more options or flexibility when you work for yourself. I mean, there was there was a airline recently in Australia. Australia is a funny place because we sort of have enough, what do you call it, enough of a market to support about 2.5 airlines. So we're constantly getting this third airline that shows up, and then a year or so later crashes and burns. Shows up, crashes and burns, so on and so forth. Anyway, all those staff, they've got no payment for their month of work or anything. So, yeah, sorry about the internet. The internet is complete cuck tonight. I don't know why. I'm barely getting above 6,000 kbit per second when I should be doing 10,000 kbit per second. So don't blame me on that one. Oh, the filthy rats. I just noticed that this display does not have the guidelines on it. There's normally guides around the home button that tell you where to line up, and it is a 789. Dirty rats. Normally they always have that. The only way to win with the banks, if you are a sole trader, as we call them here in Australia, is basically if you have, they usually want to see 20% of anything you want to borrow. And yeah, that's not unreasonable anyway. I think that's a pretty fair request with a lot of things. But it is a fair chunk of change. Like, we were lucky with this house. That was about it was about 40,000 to save up. And I know some poor bastards in popular places like Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, all that. 40,000 barely even buys them a front fence, let alone a deposit for a house. It's just ridiculous the amount of money people have got to cup up now for a house. Okay, Bodger, I'll catch up with you later. Kangaroos are chewing. Yeah, that's probably not far from the truth because we actually do have a whole pack of roos out there at the moment. I'm dropping about 1/5 of my frames. Looks like we're catching up though. Kangaroos are actually pretty scary when you go out at night time with the torch, looking out in the dark field. If you played any horror games, you'll appreciate the fear factor involved when you see them. Because they can look quite humanoid when they're out there and they sort of sit upright and then they've got red glowing eyes that look at you. And so if you've been playing games like Silent Hill or whatever and you go out there, you probably need to change your pants. Right, I just realised I've got to take this off. Catch you later, Blind Bodger. Good luck with the materials. Looks like we're coming back up to 10 megabit per second, so hopefully we should be good from now on. Maybe the ruse was splicing in a new line. So you're getting 7 and 9 in boot loop or recovery for a month. And that's with CPU failures, is it? That came off easy. Normally it's a bit of a struggle to get that protector for the digitizer flexes off. B-Blood, what country are you in again? See, around here, you were able to, I think, go down to about a 5% deposit. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not... It's still money that you're going to have to pay anyway. I think the most frustrating part was there were a few times where some good deals came up and we were knocked back on those good deals, which kind of hurt through to this day. Like one of them, there was an absolutely fantastic, immaculate 20-foot pre-built home. I mean, when I say pre-built home, it didn't have any... It was just a single open container, but it wasn't like a metal container home. It was a proper built thing. And it was going for $20,000. It was an absolute freaking bargain. Those things, secondhand, will go for $60,000, no trouble. Yeah, it was $20,000, and I could have basically bought that thing and put it back on the market the next day and got $50,000 for it, no trouble. But I couldn't get the bank to play along, and they're like, no. It's like, damn you bastards. You know, times like that, you really lament not having access to a line of credit without having to go crawling to the bank. I mean, these days, sure, I'm set for that sort of thing. But back then, and it would have made an excellent workshop or an excellent cat house. I would have been fine either option. But definitely an excellent workshop. Oh, I'm feeling suspicious about a little worried about the quality of this replacement digitizer. There's a problem. Sorry. The problem is that I can't get this one down without excessively compressing the cable against the other one, and then that causes the other one to actually shear sideways slightly, and I don't like that. They should nest very nicely. I'm not even getting a good feel on this one. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can nest them. I don't know if you can see that. See how there's that kick up line angle on the right hand flex there, where it's feeling pressure from the left hand flex. Yeah, that gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. We'll see how it goes, but I don't like it. If the person complains about touch issues, then I'll know what it's from. Now there's so much trash on this screen. And I can't really wipe it off. If I try starting to wipe off that trash, I'm just going to make it 10 times worse. Some things you just got to let be. Unless you want to spend the next 2 hours sitting there cleaning up every speck and smudge. It's more the smudging than the specks. The specks, fine, you can live with that. The smudging really is a pain. And so you got to rinse, clean, rinse, clean, rinse. Yeah, you get the idea. It's a pain. Well, B-Blood, I mean, I'm only on half an acre. Quarter acre is still a decent size. I mean, a lot of the townhouses around here now, they're all 1/8 of an acre. Or worse. 500 square meters or less. I mean, at least you've got 1,000 square meters. I've lived on quarter acre lots. And, that was when we first moved to Townsville. That was pretty much the standard suburban size in Townsville back in the 70s and 80s, I suppose. Yeah, quarter acre, 1,000 square meters. So yeah, we've got about 1,950 or something here. The trouble with this lot is the way it's shaped. It's, all stretched out in like a double triangle boomerangy thing. And to be honest, it makes it very inefficient in the way you can use the land. You waste so much because of corners and proximity to the fence and things like that. Whereas if it was a nice, wholesome, rectangular arrangement with a decent aspect ratio, you can do a lot more with a lot less. Because, yeah, we lose a tremendous amount of land due to the proximity to the fence line. This is going to be a bit of a mess. I was going to say, where the hell's my pool tab? It's up here. What? Whoops. Don't lock it down yet. Piece of my gloves in there. Oh, well, on the other side. Okay, we're going to have to heat up this section because a smidge of hot glue just kind of stopping the drop down. Yeah, 1/8 of an acre is tiny. I mean, I don't know what people can do with 500 square meters. I suppose if you're in Sydney, you find a lot. You can do a lot with it. I mean, I suppose, yeah, you could put 2 tiny homes on 500 square meters. Luxury living, tiny home style. I do think they need to work on allowing more people to do tiny homes. I think the most difficult thing about tiny homes comes down to... What the hell's going on there? That's... Oh, that sucketh. Much sucketh. Oh, geez, I hope I don't have to lift this back up. The home button's sunk in for some reason. Oh no, it's not. It's just an optical illusion. Whew. The on-off button's in bad condition though. Oh, wrong thing, Paul. Wrong thing. Two-story home? No thanks. I mean, they certainly have their uses, but after a while you start to realise stairs, particularly if you've got kids or animals, stairs are a nightmare. Greg, that's really handy if you've got 1 acre in the front of, and the 3 sides of that 1 acre are also kind of like disused land, as it were. Because one of the worst things here at the moment is the traffic outside the main street. It is bad. It's really bad. It's angry, loud, fast traffic, and it's just getting worse. And I'm not really sure what my legal avenues are for dealing with this. Half the problem is that we go from 50 kilometers an hour in the town and it switches to 60 just as you come around our corner, and then 50 meters further on it turns to 80. So I sort of would like to see them rather, because there's new development out here and whatnot, I'd like to see them move it so that it goes from, we lose the 60 sign just to the left, and then we just simply replace the 80 with the 60, so it goes 50, 60, and then up the road. But I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get that done, but it's definitely, the number of kangaroos and other animals that have been hit on that road because people are just, they're just not prepared to drive for the conditions. Oops. I've got a bit of a... Hey, Treaty. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you haven't been around. Sorry, mate. I thought, I advertised it, but clearly not enough. Right. Closest neighbours are your folks half miles. That's bliss. That's bliss, Greg. I would really like that scenario. Currently, the house next to us is up for sale and it's empty, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the fact that it's empty. There's no. Yeah, it's just nice. I guess it comes with age too. You just after a while you just sort of get sick of having to hear other people or deal with other people, or put up with other people's leaf blowers or lawn mowers or poisoning spray everywhere, or wearing Lynx Africa 2 cans a day or something like that. Just all those little things. And after a while, you're just kind of like, I'm sick of that shit. You just want to have a little bit of quiet, just to yourself. Yeah, maybe it's age. Okay, let's see if this home button works. Far out. It doesn't. It doesn't feel good. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to redo this. The home button works, but there's no click. In fact, so much so, I have a feeling that the actual little red dimple, uh, the black dimple, has come off. I don't think it's my installation. I'm pretty sure that the black dimple has come off. What a flippin' pain in the backside. Alright, gotta do it. Doesn't matter whether I do it now or tomorrow, it still has to be done. I can't give it back to the customer like this. They'll go 5 seconds into it, the kids will go, it's not clicking, so I'm going to push harder. That tactile feedback is essential. It doesn't matter if the screen's updated or anything like that. It's just sort of like a response you have. So if you don't feel the click, you push harder. Yeah, dimple. I'm pretty sure it's a dimple missing on it. I should have checked. I don't know why I didn't. Hello, Max Genius. Welcome. Good to see you. Belgium. How's things over there? I think I've sent a few of my devices recently over to Belgium. Or your area, anyway. Actually, just, all over. It reminds me, I have to check on one that I sent off to Denmark, because Denmark seems to have gone all crazy with their import controls. I'm not liking it one bit. It's already cost me one lot of extra shipping because I sent it and then it came back. It said, customs forms not appropriately set. And I was like, what the? So apparently there was something on the customs forms that they didn't like and I had to redo them. Put some fake headstones on the property that's for either that or will end up attracting even bigger weirdos, I don't know. What's crazy is though that the price they're selling it for, I think they want $390,000 for the house next to us. Now that's a small plot. That's probably 750 square meters, maybe, probably more like 650 square meter plot. And the house is okay. It's probably like 10, 12 years old now, but it's not really. It's already needed several rounds of maintenance on it. It's visually it looks like a nice house on the outside. It's a different sort of architecture, more of a seaside architecture, with a dual offset kind of fancy rooftop. But 390 is just absurdly expensive for this town. I mean, obviously, when you're a buyer, you're going to under, price under, and if you're a seller, you're going to price over. But I would have said 320 absolute max, especially in the current financial market situation. Can you read your screen? Yes, I can. You'll notice, okay, you notice I'm not using alcohol to lift the adhesive. I'm just relying on the heat and a bit of luck. And by doing that, I should be able to get it apart again without having to do another bonding job. But if I use alcohol, then I basically do have to do the job again. New adhesive and everything. Because the alcohol doesn't just soften the glue, it changes the glue. Okay, I'm sort of... Oh, we don't have to actually disassemble it. I've got to find out what's going on with... Yeah, there's definitely no click going on in that home button. That or it's... Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to take this out. I could technically take the flex and like pull it to the side, like I was some sort of exotic. Well, that's interesting. That screw was loose, but I tightened that up. Does that mean I've got a threaded? No, that's what the hell. Well, sometimes you're forced to have to undo things for reasons that you didn't realize you had to. Maybe I didn't tighten up that screw for some reason by accident. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's also not a good thing to have forgotten. Well, 320 can get you a unit in Brisbane. Yeah, I mean, I'd sooner get a unit in Brisbane than I would buy that place. So I mean, my bracket bonding is fine here. And it's sitting flush. So I'm pretty sure it's the dimple that's gone missing. What's kind of weird here is it's not something I normally expect from a 9th gen. Okay, Mr. Daniels, you're making a fine mess of this. There we go. Yeah, we got no dimple. and I've just really made a mess. Hopefully we can clean that up. I have to wait for it to cool down though. I've let hot glue thread get onto the inside of the touch plate. You can see it there. Fortunately, it's just dropped onto it. It hasn't been rubbed into it. Even still. So really, what else now? What else now? Times like this, you think, you know what? It might just be easier to get a whole new digitize, start again. Okay. Alright. So we need a new dimple. By the way, I'm more than aware of the fact that we don't actually really call them dimples, but I'm not going to say what we do call them. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's... Wow, that has been smashed out of existence. They've even smashed off some of the captain tape that normally holds it down. So that's a lot more than just simply missing the dimple. That's a full transplant job for sure. This blade is actually inappropriate for this task because it's got a hook on it. So I actually have to flip it over. Okay, that's one half of the shell out. Get the other part out. I don't want to have to try and actually replace this whole switch assembly. It doesn't really go so well when you do that. Now I've got to find a replacement. I used to have a really excellent reel of iPhone 4 buttons specifically for this task. I don't know what I did with them. Threw them out, I guess. So now I've just sort of got to rely on other flexes that I find randomly around the place and steal it off them. Let's see. See if I can find one in my other room. Tradie touch ideas. Bloody hell. Basically, I'm just using another button flex. Like I said, I could try and desolder the switch assembly entirely, but it's not a good idea because you can end up potentially messing up the electronics underneath. Okay, I really need this elevated slightly more, but we'll try. Okay. You get under your thumb tip, lift as a whole assembly. Move over to the recipient. Zoom out a little bit. If the recipient would stop squealing and jumping around, it's massively off alignment. Should do the job. Well, Jim, at least you got to see the live. I mean, come on, you're always missing the lives. So now you get the live, but you wasted your time on the commenting. So, yeah, silver lining, my good sir, silver linings. Clunk. Okay, let's see if we can get this hot glue snot off the digitizer without... because remember, that's fully exposed, that digitizer. There we go. Saved from being sorrowed. Oh, what the frick? It just bounced back. Okay. I might put a smidge of B5 7000 around on here. And I mean a real little smidge. This is not really the best tube for it because this is the big tube of B7000. So it tends to have a much thicker nozzle. But we should still be able to just... At least the nice thing about V7000, it does tend to draw itself out. It's kind of like when you got a cold and sometimes you get a bit of lodgement in your nose and you try to get it out and it feels like it's attached to the back of your brain and it draws out from the back of your brain. Anyway, so that's what it's like. People are going to go, ew, and then I'm going to go, you know what I mean. Alright, 6 skills weighs in. Yeah, it's a bizarre feeling, I will definitely give you that much. It's sort of in that bizarro realm of when you watch things like Dr. Pimple Popper and stuff like that. It's just that quirky, primal, self self-inflicted bizarro damage feeling, but liking it. Hey Greg, how's it going? I have this very strange thing that during the summer, when the allergies are playing up and I've been out mowing and things like that, and you get itchy on the inside of your ankles and things like that. Well, I have a bizarre thing now where I actually douse the inside of my ankles with hot shower water, like just hot shower water, steaming hot. And it is oddly euphoric. It doesn't last for long, but it is definitely oddly euphoric. And it worries me for the fact that I am applying very hot water to my skin. So I don't know why it is. I mean, I guess yeah, something to do with the histamines and the skin or whatever. But yeah, it's you would think yeah. Normally, when you put hot or you touch hot things and all that, and you get that crippling sort of pain for a little bit. It's kind of like a crippling electrical sensation pain where it makes you like jump around uncontrollably to try and shake it out. It's the same sort of thing, but instead of it being crippling and ugly and nasty, it becomes euphoric. Weird things you learn. See you later, Yeti. Obviously, I don't recommend people go and put hot water on their ankles to find out, but it's just, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's more like it. Oh, yeah. Now we can get back to assembly again. Yep, I would, that's good advice there, creature. For once, creature weighing in was something we can all appreciate. And as I go battle again with this touch connector bull crap, I've noticed, see how this one is longer than that one? As far as I recall, they should actually be lined up. Not this one. Unfortunately, the foil's been removed on this one already now because I had to put it back together. Sorry, I had to take it back apart because of a defective button. Most frustrating indeed having to do that. Particularly too now that not only is the front display, not only is the display itself going to have splotches and glitches on it, but the touch panel is also going to be a little bit less than perfect. I haven't personally got my fingers on it or anything like that yet, but there will be specks of dust, I don't doubt at all. Yikes. Okay, that's in, and this time we'll be trying our best to ensure that that is properly screwed in. It's like I don't fully screw it down on the first pass because you don't know what the misalignment's going to be. You want to have all your screws sitting in initially. And so then you know at least, okay, when you torque them down, they're going to be able to actually fit where they're meant to fit. Okay, now I can torque down. Okay. Marvelous. Oh, some of those things in there are just offending me far too much. Well, Apple logo is a good start. I was actually supposed to do this much earlier, but we were waiting tonight for Simba to show up. Of the 4 wildlings that we look after, there's 3 gingers, Talia, Tiger, Simba, and then the 4th one is Belle, and she's a tabby. Anyway, normally he shows up just as it's going dusk, and tonight he didn't. And there were concerns about the fact that, there were concerns. And he didn't show up for about an hour and a half after dusk, so everything got delayed for an hour and a half as we looked around, checked, double-checked, waited, all that sort of stuff. Oh, that's nice. That click. It actually clicks now. That's great. Alright, I will bake this up a bit, and then I will clamp it. And that way we should hopefully get enough rebonding, particularly considering that we've got the bend in it. The bend was the big thing originally. Also today I got from AliExpress my nice big roll of heat shrink. This is 60mm heat shrink. So it's a 1 kilo roll. Don't bother buying it by the meter. I'm buying it by the kilo now. And that's for the USB-C meters. So shrink that up. The opacity is still not as good as what I used to be able to get many years ago, but it works. So there. So it's still entirely readable, but I guess I'm just getting picky. So I don't know how many meters that is, but I'm sure it should last me a while. It's kind of nice buying big bulk lots like that. I know some people are like, that's nothing compared to what we get around here. We buy things by even bigger loads. And I guess we can just all play that game, can't we? And I bought a whole bunch of the brass inserts for the microscope ring lights as well. So everything's there, ready to roll. Okay, this is pretty much coming up to temperature. That heat shrink is the hard, like PVC stuff, as opposed to the nice soft stuff. I used to use the soft stuff for my display gadgets and all that, but I found that it would pick up a lot of muck too quickly, so I switched over to that. battery packing stuff really. And I think the shrink rate on that's much higher. I can't be sure actually. But it definitely goes like the old shrinky dinks that you put into the oven. Trying to actually do the shrinking in a controlled way is a bit of a challenge in itself. Hey Trady, did you see the cat house video? Did you? The latest one of my bodgy work on it. I've kind of stuffed up the wall ceiling interface, particularly with the skillion wedge area. But so now I'm at the point where I'm basically sort of going along and saying, well, I'll cut a piece of wood to fill up that gap and I'll stick it in there. And I'm like, well, I better cut a piece of wood to fill up that gap, stick it in there. So it's becoming a bit more of a jigsaw puzzle now, as opposed to a well-designed framing setup that just neatly comes together. It's my first house like that. Hopefully in a year or two or less I will get to build my own workshop. Similar sort of design, skillion roof, 4x2 stud frame, 6x2 floor, and although I'll probably do something different with the floor. I think I'll actually go concrete slab for my workshop. Don't know what the cost's going to be like, probably a bit more than I want. I'm sort of working on the idea of around about 150, 200 a square metre. Yeah, insulate. Oh god, yeah, insulated. The ceiling at the moment only has the like 5mm thick foam foil back, but I will then also be putting the polyester fill, and I'll be putting 2 layers of the polyester fill because I've got this 6-inch gap. The polyester fill is meant for the 4-inch, so I figure I cram 2 in there. I'll lose a bit of R rating because of being squashed, but at least it's still better than nothing. And hopefully they'll get through summer without cooking. Right now it's fantastic and warm in there. I love it now. Last night and the night before, when the gaps on the high and low side of the skillion were open, was it barge ends? When the barge ends or nogs or whatever, they weren't in there, it was just letting too much cross air come through. But now it's really nice and snug in there. Self-leveling. I'll just pour it over the dirt. I'll just go out there and put a frame around the where I want. Don't do any prep work and just put self-leveling concrete in there. It'll just break apart. Do you have any sort of AC in the sun for the cats? Yes, there'll be AC in there. If you look in the video, you'll see on the high side wall, which is the one that's furthest under the shade of the tree, it has a 600 by 400 hole cut out. I'll just put the panel back in there for the moment. That's where the air conditioner is going. It will be I don't know what the BTU size is, but it's about a 2 kilowatt system. It should have no problem keeping that room cool. Should have, yeah. Putting in AC for them, yeah. I put in fans for horse stables on a thermo. Okay, I can imagine it'd be a bit impractical to air condition for horse stables, so fans are a good stop. How long do I clamp for? Basically, I usually leave these overnight, which is probably a bit of an overkill. But I'm particularly doing it now because I've opened this up after it's already made the contact seal. Hopefully it does. Realistically, the tape that they supply, in most cases, I can get away with not even clamping, but I do like to clamp. I like to get a good number of really strong contact areas. In the older days, when the displays weren't so good, the third-party ones, on the 6th gen and 7th gen, mostly the 6th gen, you would get a bulge over in this section here. It was a massive pain in the backside. Sometimes it was because the touch flexes actually slipped up in between the glass and the frame rather than slipping under. But even then, every now and then, you'd have it still bulge up, and so you'd have to really clamp that area down to get it to sit tight. So started using a vacuum sealer and had it back to the so they can use. Oh right, okay. So you'd put it in a bag and vacuum seal it, and then while okay, that's an interesting technique. My question there is, with vacuum sealing, that would tend to put the greatest pressure sort of more in the middle of the screen. Would they get like the rainbow halos showing for a while until they release the pressure or the vacuum? That's sort of why I'm gone with this. I mean, I do have a vacuum sealer. Funnily enough, we bought it for Christmas for like 2 years ago, and we still haven't even unpacked it. That's sad, I know. Um, yeah, I'd just be worried about the central pressure region going on there. Anyway, this is fixed. That will sit there until tomorrow lunchtime when the customer comes and picks it up. Oh, ow, body hurt. Yes. Oh, crikey. What's this? What is this? What have I forgotten? Oh, dear God, what have I forgotten here? I have forgotten someone's iPad, and I don't know whose it is. This is bad. What? How could I forget this? This is why I should ticket everything as it comes in the door. But sometimes you just forget. Oh, I know what this is. Right, all good, all good. Oh, yeah, I had a panic here. I just realised I know why I haven't done this one. That's a bend again, except this is an iPad Air. And the display is fused to the glass, so I have to replace both. And I do not want to replace an iPad Air with a kick in it like that. I'm not going to replace the display on that, because if I put that back on there, you know it's going to be under pressure, something's going to tap it, and it's going to crack and break. So yeah, that's why that one's not done, because it's a no-go. I just don't want to. I just don't want to take that risk, because even if you explain to people, and believe me, this particular person would be more than understanding, but if you explain to them that, look, it's bent, I can replace it, and it will probably fit after I've bent it back, but it is going to be under stress, and if you tap it wrong, it's going to die again. And then that's going to be $250 odd that is just gone. So yeah, for these situations, I usually go, nope, 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 no thanks. All right. Most adhesive tape suggests clamp for 12 to 24 for maximum effect. Oh, okay, I actually didn't realise that. Interesting. Standard the price difference between storage of an iPad Pro 13, 300 Canadian, between 256 and 512. Oh, really? Apple doing its usual sort of stuff where it really bites you hard for the premium of extra storage. That's because they want you to use their iCloud. Yeah, it's the right thing to do. Use the iCloud. You don't need storage on your device. Let Apple manage your storage. Let Apple look after your memories. Yeah, it's... back them up yourself. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that's a big part of why they do hit you pretty hard for extra storage. So, anyway, it's almost midnight, so I definitely need to get going. I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all dropping in. And this is like the second week now of doing live streams on this new channel. Things seem to be going okay. The numbers are not fantastic yet, but give it time. I'm trying to put a little bit more effort into editing videos from the main channel. It would probably help if I had some interesting content, but next thing I'm hoping to do is the combined compass relay switch, the second version. I checked on the tracking and it looks like it's now in Australia, the circuit boards. So fingers crossed when they arrive, we'll have something interesting to do. So I'm out of here. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, you all take care.